So welcome to web design and development session. So today in this session, as a continuation of our CSS, today also we will continue, right? So as usual, let me revise what we studied in the last class. So first of all, we saw what is CSS, right? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheet, which we use to design or style the HTML document or layout, right? So HTML, using HTML, we create the structure of the HTML pages, and then we have to design, or we have to make it user friendly in order to give a very good user experience. So in that case, to style the HTML documents, we use CSS. So in that case, we need to use CSS. So we just had an introduction about CSS. Then we saw how to use CSS with any HTML document, right? So we saw there are three ways we can use CSS with any HTML document. One is inline, right? Inline CSS, and then internal CSS, and then external CSS. So first one, internal CSS. In internal CSS, within the tag itself, for example, if it is a paragraph tag, right? It's a paragraph tag. If we want to use CSS, what we would do is we will just extend this. We will put the attribute style, and then we will put it, for example, green. So this is the way we use CSS as a, sorry, this is internal, not internal, inline CSS, right? Inline, within the tag itself we are using, this is called inline CSS. Then the second method is internal CSS. So for example, here is our HTML body part. This is we discussed in detail in the last class, so I'm just revising it so that we can continue today. This is a paragraph tag, right? So in internal CSS, how do we use it? Inside the head tag, we add the style tag. We add the style tag right here. Since the tag is P, paragraph tag, so we write like that. We can add the property like this, color maybe green, like that, right? This is the internal CSS. External CSS, we create a separate CSS file. So for example, if we have a style.css, remember the file extension for CSS is .css. So the same way, we have a paragraph tag, hello world, right? Now we want to use an external CSS file. So we have a style.css file, for example. Then how do we link that? So inside the head tag, we have to use this link relationship style sheet, and then we have to add the href hyperlink reference. We have to link our css file, style.css. So if you don't remember anything, you can refer the previous lecture, right, where we discussed these things in detail. Now today we will talk about the syntax of CSS, right? Syntax of CSS. So before that, let me show you some of the exercise that we do in the last class, right? So we applied inline CSS, internal CSS, and also external CSS, right? So if I open this inline CSS, you can see here, right? So this is we did using inline CSS. And then this is using internal CSS. We have done that, right? So you can see the source code here, right? For this, we have applied using internal CSS. So here we have applied inline CSS, where within the tag itself we have applied, right? That is we call by inline CSS. And then we created one external style sheet, right? External style sheet. So with the file name style.css, and for the h1 tag, we have applied these CSS styles, and then we open this file, external 1.html and also external 2.html. So we discussed that external CSS is very useful because if we want to link the same style to multiple pages, that's a normal practice, right? In a templating approach. So this linking external style sheet is very useful, and it is the standard way, because if you want to change anything, if you want to change any of the style to all the pages, you can simply change the style sheet, simply change in your style sheet, then it will apply to all the pages, right? All the pages. So in today's class, we will just talk about the syntax of CSS, right? Syntax of CSS. So if you want to apply style to any HTML element, there is a simple syntax, right? There is a simple syntax, right? So with this simple HTML part, I will explain, then it is easy for you to understand. Now we have paragraph tag with the text inside hello world, right? Now if we want to apply inline CSS, simply we can apply here, right? Simply we can apply here with the simple attribute, adding the attribute style, and we can edit, right? So in that case, since we are applying to the tag itself, this is applicable. If you use style and add the CSS property, it will only apply to particular HTML element. So we don't need to specify which element we are going to apply, because if we apply here, it means we are styling this particular paragraph tag, right? So this is the syntax of CSS. This way is applicable to internal and external CSS, because the tag is within the body, whereas we use internal and external CSS in the head tag, right? So let's see how to use the syntax. For example, so within the style, so if you see this, you can understand, okay, this is internal CSS. We are going to use this inside the head tag, right? So in this case, this is the syntax, right? Selector, right? Selector. Then you can put the curly bracket like this. Space doesn't mean, space are meaningless in CSS, so you can, for the readability purpose, you can make spaces, right? So I am used to this method, right? Selector within the curly bracket, you have to use the property and the value. This is the syntax of CSS. If you want to apply any style to any HTML element, this is the syntax. So here the selector is the HTML element. So in this example, the selector is paragraph text. So P is the selector. So property is the CSS property. For example, to this paragraph tag, we want to apply color. We want to apply the color red, and we want to make the font size, let's say 20 pixel. So based on this syntax, how do we apply? We have to apply like this. Okay, so here using this syntax, right? What we are going to do is, for this paragraph tag, we want to make the color red and also the font size font size 20 pixel. So in that case, this is the syntax, right? Selector, we have to put the selector, right? So the curly bracket you can use like this. Some people will continuously write the CSS property like this, but I am used to this way, right? So I told you space doesn't mean anything in CSS. So if you want, you can use in any way, right? You can use it in any way. So we want to apply this too. We want to make the color red and font size like this, and also the syntax says property colon, then value semicolon, right? This is semicolon is used as the separator, right? If you want to apply more than one CSS property to any selector, we have to use more than one. In that case, you can use semicolon to separate. So here the selector is paragraph tag, so P. Now the CSS property for the color is color, right? For the color is color, and we can give the, if we want, we can give red color. And for the font size, the CSS property is, remember in CSS, the property, if the property is having more than one word, it is joined with a dash, right? No space. So for the font size, the CSS property is font size. All the CSS properties are in small, right? Small letter, and font size 20 pixel. It means For the selector P, it means for the paragraph tag, make the text color red and the font size 20 pixel. So the output will be in red color with the 20 pixel. Right, this is the syntax for CSS selector. So let me show you this as a exercise. Let's do this, right? So I'm having this. Okay, let's do this. So this is simply a HTML skeleton, just the frame of HTML, right? CSS syntax. So hello world. So if you want to use internal CSS, here you can use with the style tag. Otherwise, you can move this as a separate external file and then you can link the file. So both ways we will try this, right? Now for the same example, we will try to do that, right? So here I want to apply the style for this h1 tag. So as per the syntax, I have to refer the HTML tag. So here it is h1, that's a selector h1. So now the curly bracket, and then I want to make the color red, and I want to make the font size 20 pixel. Now hopefully let's save this as CSS syntax.html. Now let me run this file. Now we are getting hello world in red color with the 20 pixel. If I make it, for example, 200 pixel, let's refresh this and you get it right. So this is the way we have to use any CSS property if we want to apply any styling to any HTML document. So now here is paragraph tag, right? So welcome to CSS lecture. Right. Now let's see a few basic things. If you want to apply the same thing, if you want to apply the same style, to this paragraph tag also, you can use multiple selectors. If you want to apply same style to more than one HTML element, you can simply edit with the comma. This means apply these two styles, color red, font size 200 pixel for h1 tag and also for the paragraph tag Now if I refresh, for both of these it has been applied. This has been applied. So otherwise you can do in different ways right here. So for example, if you see here, for both h1 tag and paragraph tag, we have made the color red. So in both cases the color is red, but I can do in a different way. For example, for all the heading for h1 tag, I can give the font size 20 pixel, whereas for the paragraph I can give font size just 14 pixel. So now if I refresh, Let's make it visible for 30, 50 pixel, and let's make this 25 pixel. Now you see here the color red. This property is applied for both H1 tag and paragraph tag. So ultimately, both these texts are going to be in red color, right? Then for the H1 tag, heading tag, I have applied font size 50 pixel. So if I refresh, you can see this is in 50 pixel. Whereas for the paragraph, we have given font size is 25 pixel. So it appears here. Right? So this is the way you can use it. And also if you want to make this as an external CSS, you know, in the previous class also we discussed this. Let me cut this portion and let's create a new CSS file. I'm just pasting, right? I have just pasted. Right. So we have to name it as a my style, for example, .css. And okay, now we have given the name my style.css. Let's save this. Now let me open. This is our file, right? So save it as CSS syntax. So if I open, this style, right? This style to this HTML. So in the way of external CSS, we link element, link rel, it means relationship. What's the relationship of this link? So it is style sheet, and then href, hyperlink reference. We have to link our external CSS file. So we have given the name my style.css. So if everything is correct, hopefully if I open this page, now we see the style is applied, right? So it means we have correctly linked this external style sheet. So now if I apply another style, text align center. So this is we used to center the text alignment. So if I refresh, now text will appear in a centered way, right? Right. So this is the way we can use external CSS or internal CSS. The advantage of using external CSS is with the same style sheet, we can apply to many HTML documents. It's we call a templating approach. It's the best practice, right? When you develop a website for a client or for any business, we will have almost similar template. The footer, header, and other appearance will be same across all the pages. So in that case, for all the common styling elements, we will use a external style sheet. So that way it is very easy for us, right? So now let me move this, right? Let me move this CSS syntax and also my style, right? So normally, let me name this my site, right? Now, if you assume this as a website folder, right, my site, the standard practice is we don't keep all these HTML, style sheet, JavaScript file inside in the same directory, right? HTML file will be in the main directory or root directory. Then we will create a folder for CSS, and for JavaScript we'll create a folder JavaScript, and also for images you can have either img or images, right, for easy maintenance. Now we are moving this my style.css file inside the CSS folder. This way your directory will be very clean and also it will be easy to maintain, right? So here, now if I open this file, we are not getting the CSS style applied. Why? Because if you see the source code, now we have directly linked that, right? Directly linked that, but this file is not residing inside this same folder. Now we have moved that folder, right? Move that CSS file inside a folder CSS. So if you click here, this file is not found. Why? There is no such file, my style.css, inside the directory my site. So actually it is inside this folder. There is a folder inside the my site CSS, and in that folder only my style.css is there, right? So let's correct that. We have to correct here. Now I just have to add the directory, right? CSS/mystyle. Now hopefully the style would be applied. Let me explain this in Tamil. இங்க செலக்டர் என்று சொல்றது HTML டெக், உண்மையில HTML டெக் அல்லது HTML இருக்கிற ஒரு எலிமெண்ட். இந்த செலக்டரை வச்சு தான் CSS ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ண போகுது. ஓகே, இந்த செலக்டருக்கு தான் இங்க நாங்க சொல்லியிருக்கிற ஸ்டைல் வந்து அப்ளை ஆகும்னு சொல்லி. ஸோ இந்த எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னு சொன்னா இது CSS சின்டெக்ஸ், அதாவது செலக்டரை நாங்க சொல்லணும் வித்தின் கர்லி பிரேக்கெட், அந்த அதுக்குரிய நம்ம அப்ளை பண்ண வேண்டிய CSS ப்ராப்பர்ட்டியை சொல்லிட்டு கோலோனை போட்டுவிட்டு அதுக்கு பிறகு என்ன வேல்யூவை கொடுக்க போறோம். உதாரணத்துக்கு கலர்ன்னு சொன்னா கலருக்கு பொருத்தமான ஒரு வேல்யூ, கலர் வேல்யூவை நாங்க கொடுக்குற நேரம் அதை எந்த செலக்டருக்கு நாங்க அப்ளை பண்றோமோ அந்த செலக்டருக்கு என்ன செய்ய போதும், அந்த ஸ்டைல் வந்து அப்ளை ஆக போகுது. ஸோ அதே மாதிரி தான் இங்க பரகிராஃப் டெக், உதாரணத்துக்கு நாங்க என்ன செஞ்சுக்கிறோம், பரகிராஃப் டெக்குக்கு இதான் சின்டெக்ஸ், அதாவது ப்ராப்பர்ட்டின்னு சொல்றது CSS ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி. கலருங்கிறது ஒன் ஆஃப் த CSS ப்ராப்பர்ட்டிஸ். கலரை பாவிச்சிருக்கோம், அந்த கலருக்கு பொருத்தமான ஒரு வேல்யூ தான் ரெட். ஃபொண்ட் சைஸுங்கிறது அந்த குறிப்பிட்ட செலக்டர், அதாவது இங்க பரகிராஃபுக்குள்ள இருக்கிற டெக்ஸ்ட்ர ஃபொண்ட் சைஸை நாங்க டிஃபைன் பண்றதுக்கு பாவிக்கிறது தான் இந்த ஃபொண்ட் சைஸ்ன்னு சொல்ற CSS ப்ராப்பர்ட்டி. ஸோ அதுல வெலுவாக நாங்க கொடுத்துக்கிறோம் 20 பிக்சல். அப்போ உண்மையில என்ன செய்யும் சொன்னா, பரகிராஃப் எங்க HTML டாக்குமெண்ட்ல எங்க எல்லாம் பரகிராஃப் டெக் இருக்குதோ அந்த பரகிராஃப் டெக் எல்லாத்துக்கும் அதுல கலரை ரெட்டா மாத்தும், அதே மாதிரி ஃபொண்ட் சைஸை வந்து 20 பிக்சலா மாத்துங்கிறது தான் இங்க நாங்க லேர்ன் பண்ற விஷயம். அடுத்தது வந்து இங்க ஒரு ஸ்டாண்டர்டாக நாங்க ஒரு வெப்சைட் ஒன்று டெவலப் பண்ற நேரம் நிறைய ஃபைல்ஸ் எங்களுக்கு வரும். ஸோ அதை ஒரு ஸ்டாண்டர்டா நாங்க மெயின்டைன் பண்ணணும். உதாரணமா இங்க மை சைட்ன்னு சொல்றதுதான் நம்மளோட வெப்சைட்ன்னு சொன்னா எல்லா ஃபைலையும் CSS ஃபைல், இமேஜஸ், ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஃபைல் எல்லாத்தையும் ஒரு மெயினான இந்த டிரெக்டரிக்குள்ள போடுறங்கிறது இட்ஸ் நாட் அ குட் ப்ராக்டிஸ். அதுக்காக நாங்க என்ன செஞ்சோம், மெயினான HTML ஃபைல் மட்டும்தான் ரூட் டிரெக்டரி, அந்த மெயின் டிரெக்டரிக்குள்ள இருக்கு. அதுக்கு சப்போர்ட்டிவா வர CSS ஃபைல், இமேஜ் ஃபைல், அதே மாதிரி ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஃபைல் எல்லாத்தையும் ஒவ்வொன்றுக்கும் செப்பரேட்டா ஒரு அதுக்குள்ள அந்த மெயின் டிரெக்டரிக்குள்ள ஒவ்வொரு ஃபோல்டரை கிரியேட் பண்ணி நாங்க போட்டு வச்சுக்கோம். அப்ப இங்க CSS எங்களோட ஸ்டைல் CSS ஃபைல் வந்து mystyle.css. ஸோ அப்ப இங்க இருக்கிற HTML டாக்குமெண்ட்டுக்கு நாங்க லிங்க் பண்ண போகக்குள்ள இப்ப டிரெக்டா நாங்க mystyle.css என்றதை பாவிச்சமா இருந்தா இத மீனிங் என்னன்னா, இந்த HTML ஃபைல் வந்து எந்த டிரெக்டரியில இருக்குதோ அதுக்குள்ள நாங்க லிங்க் பண்ற CSS ஃபைல் இருந்தா மட்டும்தான். அதே மாதிரிதான் இமேஜுக்கும், அதே மாதிரிதான் ஜாவா ஸ்கிரிப்டுக்கும் அதே சேம் டிரெக்டரியில இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் என்ன செய்யலாம், டிரெக்டா ஃபைல் நேம் எக்ஸ்டென்ஷனோட பாவிச்சு லிங்க் பண்ணலாம். அப்ப இப்படி லிங்க் பண்ணினா உண்மையில வெப் ப்ரௌசர் எங்க இந்த ஃபைலை லுக் பண்ணும்னு சொன்னா the same directory இந்த HTML ஃபைல் எங்க இருக்குதோ அந்த டைரக்டரிக்குள்ள பார்க்கும் அதுக்குள்ள ஃபைல் இல்ல ஸோ எங்களுக்கு அந்த அதை நாங்கள் என்ன பர்பஸுக்கு பாவிச்சோமோ அந்த ரிசல்ட்ஸ் வந்து எங்களுக்கு கிடைக்க மாட்டுச்சு ஸோ இப்போ இந்த mystyle.css என்று சொல்றது இந்த HTML ஃபைல் இருக்கிறது இந்த ஃபோல்டர்ல அதுல ஒரு சப் டைரக்டரி அல்லது அதுக்குள்ள இருக்கிற ஒரு ஃபோல்டர்ல தான் இருக்கு ஸோ அப்போ அந்த ஃபோல்டர் வந்து CSS ஸோ அதுக்குள்ள எங்களோட mystyle.css இருக்குது ஸோ நாங்கள் அதை கிரியேட் பண்றோம் அதே மாதிரி ஒரு இமேஜ் ஒன்று லிங்க் பண்ணக்குள்ள இமேஜ் சோர்ஸா நாங்கள் என்னத்தை கொடுப்போம் இமேஜ் சோர்ஸாக நாங்கள் கொடுக்குறதா இருந்தா உங்களுக்கு இதே மாதிரி இந்த பாத் இமேஜஸ் ஸ்லாஷ் இமேஜ் நேம் கொடுத்து நாங்கள் லிங்க் பண்ணுவோம் ரைட் அதே மாதிரி தான் ஜாவாஸ்கிரிப்ட் ஃபைல் ஒன்று லிங்க் பண்ணக்குள்ள அந்த JS இந்த ஃபோல்டரை சேர்த்து தான் நாங்கள் என்ன செய்வோம் லிங்க் பண்ணுவோம் so now we will discuss about some of the common CSS properties right இப்போ நாங்க காமனாக பாவிக்கிற CSS properties என்னன்னு சொல்லி பார்ப்போம் and we have to understand certain things as well right so this is our HTML document or you can take it as HTML file or web page or whatever right this is our HTML document right? If you see the in web browser this area this entire area is what we refer by web page right so இதுக்குள்ள வரக்கூடிய content எங்க வரப்போகுது in HTML inside the body tag inside the body tag inside the body tag so இதுக்குள்ள வாரதான் இங்க இந்த டாக்குமெண்ட் உள்ள வரப்போகுது right so it's a simple thing but it's a very important thing right now we'll talk about there is one important thing we have to understand this is our interface here the screen size of the person right so here now there are two things different things we have to understand margin and padding margin and padding right so if you open up MS Word file right this is the area but we will make some margin right we will make some margin let's say sometime when we make a document we will leave 1 inch margin for all 4 directions so this is the area available for us to type so if we leave margin then the typing area is limited to this so because for all these 4 directions top right bottom left we have made 1 inch margin space now so you can think this as the border you can think this as a border right so this margin refers to outside or outer space of the border outside of the border so even though we have this space sometime we may start typing from here sometime even I can start typing from here this space inside the border inside the border, if we make some space, this space we can call otherwise inside the border. I'm giving a very simple example, right? I'm not talking about technical things, just giving a simple example which you can easily understand the distinction between margin and padding. It's called padding. Right. To show you this, the difference, let me make some changes to this style file, right? Now we have body, h1 tag, welcome and so on, right? So let me open up this style sheet. Right, heading. So I'll use different colors so you can understand the distinction, right? Body. So body means the entire area of the web page, right? So that's what represent the body, because all the other text are coming inside the body. So if I apply any style to the body, it will apply to all the HTML elements that are inside the body. So here I am giving background color pink, for example. Now you see here the background color is pink. Now let me make the margin. $50 margin is 50 pixel, right? Now margin is 60 pixel. So here what happens is, inside this entire body we are making 50 pixel margin. Sorry. $50 margin. So 50 pixel for all the directions, 50 pixel. Now our content appearing area, or we can call so, is limited to this red color marked one. This space is not available for us because we have left the margin. So outside the border, that's what we mean by outside the borders. Now I am applying the border, right? For example, border 10 pixel solid, give the color black. Now you see here, this is the 50 pixel margin we left for all this direction using this property margin 50 pixel. So the margin is the outer space of the border. Margin is the outer space of the border. So it is very clear now, right? Outer space of the borders. So inside this border, now we have the area where we can use for designing, or we can adding anything, right? Now let's come to the padding part. Padding is, remember I told, inside the border. Even we don't want this text appear immediately with the border. So now if you want to make some more space, you can use the, if you want some space inside the border, you can use the margin padding, sorry, you can use the padding. So I am giving another 50 pixel, for example. Now we have the 50 pixel here. Right. So there's a difference between margin and padding. Remember, margin is the outer space. Outer space means if you leave some margin to any HTML tag, that space is not available for you. That space is not available for you. Just like in MS Word, if you give 1 inch margin, then you will have only this space. Inside this only you can type. This space will be left blank. That's the same thing applies here, right? Here you can't do anything. So that's a distinction between margin and padding. It is very, very useful, right? When we work with web pages, right? And then we have to understand, if you take a web page, it has 4 directions. It has 4 directions. It has 4 directions. This is top. This is top. This is top. This is right. This is bottom. This is left. And it works. I will show where we apply this, then you can understand this. The working starts from top to left in the clockwise, right? Not anti-clockwise, clockwise, just like our clock works like this, right? The same way it works. So why we need to understand this basic thing is, here for the margin, I have applied 50 pixel. So it has applied for all the directions 50 pixel, all the 4 directions. Here this area, right? This is top area, then right area, here the bottom area, and here the left area. And it works this way: top, right, bottom, left. So let me show you here. Now let's say for this top, I want to leave some, I want to make a 50 pixel space. Here for the right side, I want to make 100 pixel space. For the bottom, I want to make, let's say, 200 pixel space. For the left, I want to make 400 pixel space. Then how do we apply? It is where we have to use this direction. So top, then right, bottom, and left. So if you give only one value for the margin, it means you are giving this margin value 50 pixel for all the 4 directions, from top to right, bottom, left. If you give like this, now we want top 50 pixel, right 100 pixel, bottom 200 pixel, and left is 400 pixel. So if you want to apply it, so I told you here, starting from top to in the clockwise direction, we have to apply that. So 50 pixel, 200 pixel, 100 pixel, then 200 pixel, and then 400 pixel. Now, as you know, first one refers to top, then right, bottom, left in the clock direction starting from top. So let me save this and let's see the results. Now you can see here, right? Here it is applied 50 pixel. It has applied 50 pixel here. Here it is 100 pixel. Here it is 200 pixel. Here it is 400 pixel. 400 pixel. Here it is 400 pixel. So to make it more detailed, margin, if you apply only one property, for example 50 pixel, this applies to all four directions. Wherever, remember, wherever something is applied to direction, no matter whether margin, background, border, padding, if it is matters for all the four directions, then this concept is applied, right? If you want to apply, for example, if you want to apply margin 50 pixel, this means it will be applied for all the four directions. If you want to give different values, margin 50 pixel, 100 pixel, 200 pixel, 400 pixel. Then remember this order. This refers to top, clockwise, then right, then bottom, and then left. This is one way. Another way, let's say in this we want to make top and bottom 50 pixel, left and right 100 pixel. Then in this way we can write like this: 50 pixel, 100 pixel, then this one 50 pixel, and then 100 pixel. Then you can see a nice border. So here top and bottom 50 pixel, left and right 100 pixel. But here, if you, this is top, this is bottom, if you apply top and bottom same value, for the left and right same value, you don't need to do this way. This is also okay. There's another simple way: 50 pixel and 100 pixel. Now let's apply this and see what happens. Hopefully we won't see any changes. We see it appears the same way. So if you apply only two values, first value will be taken up for top and bottom, second value will be taken up for left and right? So the same concept is applied for padding. So it will apply. So one more thing is there. Let me write. Even you can individually define this also. That is also possible. It means margin left. If you specifically mention the direction like this, margin left, it means it is only left. You can't give more than one value here, because you are specifically referring, okay, this margin is a specific CSS property for giving the left margin. So in that case, you can give only one value, 100 pixel. Margin right, you can give like four directions are available: margin bottom and margin top. These all are applicable, right? So if you specifically mention the direction, The same is applied for, as I told you, for the border, radius, and so on, even for the padding, padding left, padding right, padding bottom, top, like that. So these are a couple of ways we can give the value, right? So now if you want all the things have the same value, you can define only one property. Otherwise, top and bottom one and left and right another value, then you can have this one. Or if you want different values, you can go up to 4 values, right? Here also, padding also. And another aspect is there. Wherever you use pixel, you can also use percentage also. So if this is the entire screen, then pixel, we know there is a specific length. If you give percentage from your screen size, it will occupy the percentage. For example, if this is your screen size, if your screen size is 1024 pixel, now you are giving 50 pixel, okay, it will accurately take 50 pixel. Here, otherwise, if you use 25%, what will happen? It will take 25% of the size 1024. For example, here, if you want to apply 25%, so if you apply percentage, for example, 25%, it's not okay, 10%, margin 10%. So what it means, out of your entire screen, for each direction, it will occupy 10%. It will occupy 10%. Right? It will occupy 10%. These are some of the concepts we are learning. Then in the future upcoming classes, we can actually do some nice designs. And another aspect is there, color. When using color, there are 3 ways you can use. If the color has a specific text, you can use. For example, black is a meaningful color, right? It has a meaning, black. So if you want to specify a color, you can give value. Color value can be in 3 ways. One is, if you know the exact color name, then you can give black. But there are thousands of variations in black color itself, so that you can give those. All the variations don't have a fixed color. In that case, we have a different option. You can give RGB, red, green, blue ratio also. You can give this way, right? Up to 255 you can go, right? RGB format also you can give. Otherwise, you can give the hexadecimal way, right? Can give in the hexadecimal way also. These 3 ways you can use the color. Wherever you are going to use the color property to your CSS, you can use in these 3 ways. If you know, you can give the specific color name, otherwise in RGB format, otherwise in hexadecimal code. Let's apply and see here. Background color, pink is, there's a color specifically, so we have given pink. So now let me give in the RGB format, 200, 100, 155. These are 8 bits, right? 8 bit. So maximum you can give 255. You can't go more than that, because you know, in 8 bit maximum this one, right? 8 bit. So that's 255. So the minimum value is 0.0000001, right? So it is 1. So each value must be 1 to 255 in the RGB format. It is very simple. You can see when you use Photoshop and any other software, it's very simple, right? You can see that. And then this hexadecimal code, this RGB values converted to base 16 in order to produce as many color possible. So now let's run this. Now we are getting a different color. Now let me give a hexadecimal color format. 1A, B, C, D, E. We are getting this color. So for your information, hexadecimal code comes with the base 16. So the possible numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E. You can't give anything beyond A, B, C, D, right? Just I'm telling, you don't need to bother about this now. So this both RGB and hexadecimal code applies in Photoshop and any other image editing software. So you can see here, for example, if you want to pick the specific color from here, so you can use this color picker, right? You can select here, and this is the color for that. The hexadecimal code is here. So you can simply copy it and edit here with a hash. Then you get the color, right? You get that color. Otherwise, here is the RGB value. So usually we use hexadecimal value. So for your information, I told that we can use color in 3 ways. So that's all for today. Let me summarize what we have studied in today's class. So we revised what we studied in the previous class. That's all for today. Thank you very much and hope to see you in the next class. Thank you.